Have you ever felt like the world is on the edge of something big and maybe a little scary? It's like a storm is brewing, but no one knows exactly when it's going to hit. The changes we're seeing today in the environment, in how we think, and even in how we deal with emotions are clear signs of a future that demands our attention now. But here's the thing. Ignoring these signs could come with a high price. Sadhguru reminds us that there's still time to act, but only if we're willing to rethink our choices and carve out a different path. Want to know how to turn things around and prepare for what's ahead? Stay with the video. Think of someone planting seeds in barren soil. That's how our unconscious actions are affecting the planet. Science tells us that fixing the environmental damage caused by humans will take about 150 to 200 years. Just think about it, a century and a half just to undo what we're doing now. For instance, every plastic bottle you throw away could take hundreds of years to decompose. But it's not just about physical trash. Our excessive use of fossil fuels is speeding up climate change, affecting both weather patterns and biodiversity. So, what are you doing to reduce your footprint? Have you considered starting small, like using a reusable bottle or walking more often? The choices we make every day, even the smallest ones, have a ripple effect over time. Ever heard of the butterfly effect? That's exactly what this is. Each of our actions can create impacts that, when multiplied, affect the whole society. Imagine entire communities switching to solar power. It's not just about saving energy. It's about building a legacy for future generations. And here's the big takeaway. It's not only about what you avoid doing, but also about what you choose to create. Is it time to reassess your priorities? Maybe investing in more conscious habits is the first step to leaving behind a better world for your kids. And of course, this isn't just about saving the planet, it's about saving ourselves. When we protect nature, we're actually ensuring our own survival. Did you know that healthy forests even influence the air quality in big cities? So next time you think your individual actions don't matter, remember, small acts, repeated by many, create massive change. The real power isn't in waiting for governments or corporations to act, it's in our hands. Speaking of change, something even bigger is happening inside people. They're starting to think for themselves. Have you noticed how people are questioning things more these days? What used to be blindly accepted is now being debated, analyzed, and often rejected. That's the power of individual thinking making its way to the surface. Imagine someone who grew up being told they had to stick to one career path because it's the right thing to do. Today, that same person might be starting a business, chasing their passions, or exploring alternatives that feel more meaningful to them. The internet has played a huge role in this, a space where ideas flow freely, helping people break away from outdated beliefs and form their own opinions. Have you ever questioned something you once believed to be absolutely true? This change isn't just a trend. It's a quiet revolution. When people start thinking for themselves, something truly transformative happens. They stop settling for easy answers. A clear example of this is the rise in practices like meditation and self-awareness. It's not about blindly following a guru. It's about exploring what resonates with you. The same goes for everyday choices like eating less meat, because you understand the environmental impact, or embracing minimalism, because you've realized that less really is more. These are signs of a humanity that's not just thinking, but also taking responsibility for living consciously. And this shift, like a river carving its path, inevitably challenges old structures. Religions that once demanded blind obedience now face the scrutiny of logic. Authorities that relied on passivity are now met with resistance. But this isn't about rebelling for the sake of confrontation. It's about seeking authenticity. This journey takes courage because thinking for yourself can sometimes feel lonely. Yet, the world is moving in this direction, and you're part of it. Speaking of change, what happens when we start questioning even the concepts we were taught about what comes after life? For centuries, people were told to look forward to a heaven after death, a place where all problems dissolve and happiness is guaranteed. But think about this for a moment. What happens when logical questions start unraveling that idea? Today, with greater access to information and more critical thinking, many are realizing that relying on a future promise isn't enough to face the challenges of the present. After all, how can we ignore the suffering around us while waiting for something uncertain? This is where people begin to seek well-being in the here and now, finding joy in simple experiences like sharing coffee with friends or listening to the sound of rain on the roof. This shift isn't negative. On the contrary, it's freeing. When people stop waiting for the after, they become more engaged in the now. For instance, sustainability efforts and practices like yoga or mindfulness are gaining traction because they help create a more fulfilling present. Instead of postponing happiness for a paradise, people are learning to create meaningful moments in everyday life. A recent study found that individuals who meditate regularly report higher levels of life satisfaction, regardless of external circumstances. This isn't a promised heaven, it's a choice to live fully right here, right now. But this transition isn't easy. Letting go of the idea of a heaven often leaves a void that needs to be filled. And here's the challenge. What do you replace it with? For many, it's the pursuit of self-awareness and a connection to something greater, not as a distant place, but as an inner sense of peace. This changes the narrative. We're no longer chasing a promise, but building a meaningful life in the present. However, when that void is filled in unhealthy ways, substance dependency can become a dangerous escape. When existential emptiness grows, many turn to substances like alcohol or drugs for comfort. It's like trying to fill a deep hole with sand. It might seem to work at first, but it's never enough. The loss of belief in traditional systems, like religion, has left many without a safe harbor. Picture someone who, overwhelmed by their struggles, pours themselves a glass of wine or lights a cigarette to ease the tension. The problem? These temporary fixes create cycles of dependence that only deepen the feeling of being out of control. Worse yet, society's normalization of this makes it harder to recognize the danger. This behavior reflects a growing disconnection from one's own essence. Instead of facing challenges head-on, people seek shortcuts that often lead to even darker places. But there is an alternative. Simple practices like conscious breathing or walking in nature can help manage stress without relying on substances. Have you ever tried going to a park, leaving your phone behind, and just observing the world around you? That small pause can work wonders for your mind and body, creating space for inner peace to grow without external distractions. However, substance dependency isn't just an individual issue. It's a symptom of a society that has forgotten how to teach inner joy. Instead of learning to navigate our emotions, we're bombarded with quick fixes that promise happiness, but never deliver lasting fulfillment. This trend threatens the well-being of future generations, creating a cycle that's hard to break. So, the question is, how can we reverse this and build an environment where genuine well-being is nurtured from an early age? Imagine if you could fast forward into the future and see how your choices today shape tomorrow's world. That's what's at stake when we talk about responsibility to future generations. Every decision, from what we buy to how we treat natural resources, has a direct impact on the legacy we leave behind. Think about something as simple as cutting down on plastic use in your home. That small change, multiplied by thousands of families, could mean cleaner oceans for your grandchildren. It's about planting seeds of change, even if you may never see the tree grow. But taking care of the future isn't just about the environment, it's about empowering the people who will come after us. The world needs a more conscious and resilient generation, and that starts with the example we set today. A practical way to do this is by teaching kids early on the importance of taking care of their minds and bodies. Have you noticed how schools that include meditation or yoga in their curriculum report fewer cases of bullying and better academic focus? It's living proof that small actions can create massive ripples of change. What kind of skills do you think the next generations should master to face challenges we can't even imagine yet? Still, there's an obstacle we can't ignore: the growing dependency on substances that threaten to undermine the future. How can we expect young people to lead with wisdom when so many grow up in environments where chemical escapes are the norm? The solution isn't just about banning or restricting these habits. It's about offering healthy and appealing alternatives. Creating spaces where inner joy can flourish could transform how we approach life's challenges. And this brings us to a critical question. How can we teach this sense of joy in a way that not only heals the present, but also paves the way for a brighter future? Have you ever wondered why happiness feels so fleeting for so many people? It's because we've been conditioned to search for it outside of ourselves. But the real key to facing life's challenges is teaching people to experience inner joy. Imagine learning to find peace in the midst of chaos, like having an endless source of energy within you. One simple way to tap into this is by practicing daily gratitude, being thankful for what you already have, instead of focusing on what's missing. Have you ever tried listing 3 things you're grateful for before going to bed? It might seem small, but it can shift your perspective in powerful ways. Teaching inner joy isn't just a personal practice. It's a movement that can transform entire communities. Picture a workplace where people are taught to manage their emotions before reacting. This doesn't just improve relationships. It also boosts productivity. Programs like those led by Sadhguru integrate meditation and self-awareness into daily routines, creating more conscious leaders and collaborative teams. It's not about running from problems. It's about facing them with an unshakable inner strength. And the best part? This joy doesn't rely on external circumstances. It comes from your ability to tap into your own potential. And when this approach becomes part of a society's culture, the impact is immense. Fewer people turn to substances to escape, and more begin to see life as an opportunity rather than a burden. Teaching inner joy is really about teaching resilience, the ability to get back up no matter how many times life knocks you down. It's like learning to navigate a boat. The sea may be unpredictable, but when you know how to handle the oars, no storm can stop you. This isn't just a lesson for today. It's a gift for the future. And when we pair this practice with conscious actions, the results can be truly extraordinary. What you've heard here isn't just a call for reflection. It's an invitation to transformation. If you grasp the depth of this message, you'll realize that every choice you make has the power to shape not only your own life, but also the lives of those around you. The time to act is now, and the actions you take today will define the world of tomorrow. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about doing what needs to be done with clarity and determination every single day. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to keep exploring insights that can transform your perception and your life. This is just the beginning of a journey that goes far beyond what you ever thought was possible.